We'll start the session for today. If you have any doubts, you go ahead with that. If not, then we'll start with the regular session. Okay.
Hey Sunil, I have a question from your essay session.
Yeah.
So this is regarding the data model, MDF data model. So if the MDF, like let's imagine that MDM is complete, and suddenly the client has a requirement to add two more fields to the base object.
hmm
So how do you handle that scenario?
You have to do a code fix, data fix. Two things you have to do.
Okay, code fix
Code fix
is
is
more like
the
adding.
base object update that you have to do. You have to add those two columns. Then you have to update the. Then you have to do it. What you can say. Let's say you add two fields. Name. Let's say alias. Let's say alias was previously not there and you have added that because of client requirement. Okay, so when you add that, this field basically will be populated as null by default. Okay,
Okay.
now see, so code fix is done. Now what you have to do is you have to fix the data. There are two ways of doing it. Okay, one is you can do it directly. That is not advised. Okay, and that is only the thing if the trust is not enabled and it is simple, but still it's not advised to do directly. Second thing is to reprocess those customers that will be impacted, that you are expecting. If you reprocess those records, then the value will be updated for those customers.
So when you say reprocess, like are we going for like complete truncate and load
No,
or
not truncate and load. Let's say you have total 10 records, let's say in your base object.
yes?
So for those 10 records, the alias column will be null when you initially create, right? So if you
Uh-huh.
process these 10 customers again, so and alias is a value for alias will be there, right? So this will be treated as a change and then that will be updated in this base objects.
Okay. It's more like updating that field
Yeah,
rather
it's
than
moreover
inserting as a
like
new.
instead of directly updating it, what you do is you reprocess it from the beginning. You reprocess it from the source. So that's the best way
Source.
of
Okay.
doing it. But you can also do a direct data fix by updating the base object and the related tables. But that's not advised because the thing is a base object is not a single table. A base object has around 13 tables related. Okay, and you have to do an
Okay.
impact, and these are the tables that Informatica tells you. It doesn't mean these are the only tables. You mean there are a lot of other tables that Informatica does not tell you that, and they are completely hidden from the user. Okay, so even those tables, some of those tables you would have to update. And if the impact is very big, let's say there are many customers, millions, then this option, the second option, reprocess, will take very long time. You have to do it direct data fix with the help of Informatica support. Yeah,
Okay.
direct fix means the backend. What That's what I'm saying. Backend update.
Okay.
Okay, and I think yesterday someone, don't remember, Venkat. Yeah, Venkat or Murli. I think someone asked Murli, right? Murli, you asked this question, right, regarding the online tables. Um, the SIF, how it will be stored, like on for the online operations and for the batch operations. I told you that for the online operations it's not stored in the raw table. I think, I don't remember who asked, but
Yeah,
there was a
yes, yes,
there
I
was
know.
a I mean it was a flip side.
Yeah, this.
For reject table it's not
Mm-hmm.
used. For example, for reject table, let's say a record is rejected in the batch mode, then it is stored in the reject table. But
Yeah.
if it is rejected, let's say by a SIF operation, a real-time operation, then it will not
Mm-hmm.
be stored in the reject table. It will directly, a failure message will be written to the caller. That's what happens. So here the reject table is only for batch, whereas the raw table can be used for both. Okay, the structure, everything will remain the same. Only thing is that there is an online indicator special flag, online underscore IND, that will be one for online and it will be zero for batch mode. Okay,
Bad.
so we can use batch and real time both here. That's the concept. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, for the question asked just now, I guess not only enhancing the base object, we need to go and enhance the stage and also the
Yeah, that's what I
landing
said.
table.
Yeah, so that's what I said. The data fix means, I mean, sorry, the code fix means you would have to you have to change a lot of things. You have to change probably the landing table also. You have to populate that column. You have to change it in staging table. You have to change the mapping, because mapping again you have to map the data. So a lot of things you have to do.
Even the raw and reject table also has to be
when you
enhanced,
do
I guess.
when you do the staging table, automatically raw and reject tables are taken care. You don't need to manually change the structure of any of these tables. You don't need to manually do it. You just need to change this structure. Automatically this is taken care. And again, same goes for here. You do not need to change any of the structures. If you change this, automatically additional columns are added here, all these tables.
Yeah, so but basically that's a huge effort now, but initially if the analysis is not done properly or
Yeah,
if the
that's
business
correct.
comes back
it's
and say,
it's a huge
I
thing.
need to, yeah, I need to enrich the DNB stuff, Dun and Bradstreet or any other third-party information where they say that enrich all these customers with this information,
Yeah,
then it's a total reload.
that's what, right? I mean, you do not have any other option. That's the only thing. The only option that you have is it's a direct backend update that will save a lot of time, but this you cannot. You should do it with the help of Informatica support in order to make sure that your data is not corrupted. Okay, but you do
Yeah,
not have.
backend update also, I mean, even though two process has to be implemented, that is, we need to enhance the existing tables and then do a backend update in
Yeah,
order for the ongoing process to.
correct. First of all, have to do the code fix, then the data fix. Basically, any change that happens in production happens via two methods: code fix and then the data fix. Data fix is not always mandatory. It's mandatory if it's impacting the data. Okay, so okay,
Yeah.
so here we go for today. Okay, we'll start from where we left. We'll start with this. See, the workflow manager is related to state management. Okay, state management I'll tell you later. You will not understand now. The concept of state management is what you say. It's a business process management, BPM. Business process management. Business process management is nothing but an approval process. Okay, it's a approval process which is normally not there. Okay, normally you do not have an approval process, but if you want an approval process, then you have to use active VOS. It's a separate software, active VOS. You have to install and you have to integrate that. Sorry, this is active EOS. You have to install and you have to integrate that. Once you do that, then you have to configure all those things here. Then BPM will be engine, that is business process management. So business process I'll just tell you in brief and you remember that. Later I'll tell you. Business process management is uh, instead of, let's say, if you want to update something manually. Okay, so if you do not have an approval process, immediately that will be updated. Okay, but if you have an approval process, that will go to a 4 level or 6 level or 2 level review. That is, your manager, your IT manager, or the business guy will approve that, stating that yes, this change is fine. Then the record is updated, like actually updated. So that is called as an approval process, and that happens, that's completely a separate software. Okay, that's called as active EOS. Informatica allows you to integrate this software with with MDM. Okay, that's the option. Model repository anyway will be daily will be working on this, so I'll just tell you quickly because anyway we'll be going through that in details.
Hey, Sunil, one question on the workflow manager. Is that the integration for the IDD also? I mean,
No, I mean IDD or IDQ you're saying.
uh, IDQ we already have a different place not to integrate.
Yeah, IDD you do not. IDD is not here. Okay, IDD is here.
It's a separate tool.
IDD is a separate. It's a web-based tool. There's nothing you can do here. Yeah, but IDD works on what you have created here. Okay, so the tables, schema, packages, whatever you have created, right? That you need to configure in the
Yeah.
IDD.
Okay.
You have to configure this here in IDD.
Yeah, all the alerts or any failures that are generated will be shown in the IDD interface, I guess, for the data stewards.
Data steward, yeah, you can see it there, or you can see it in the logs.
Yeah, I mean for the admin purpose in the logs, but for any
Yeah,
correction,
for manual
manual
merge,
merge or
everything, yeah,
anything.
that you will see it in the IDD. Okay, you have to configure it here. It's a separate tool in itself. IDD, it's not part of, I mean, this, but IDD works on this only. I mean, actually IDD is based on SIF. For those of you who have some idea on SIF, that will tell you later. IDD is an application which is based on SIF. It uses SIF calls to invoke operations in this MDM hub. Okay,
Okay.
and ITD. What is ITD? There is nothing called as ITD in MDM. It could be there outside, but I don't know anything ITD.
Informatica data director.
No, ITD. Venkat is asking what is called as um, ITD.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I mean, it will be there, but I don't know. There's nothing like that in MDM. Maybe some other software.
No, no, Sunil, like I am asking, are you talking about IDT or ITD?
No, we are talking about IDD, Informatica Data Director. What Murli asked. Okay, so I was explaining about IDD, Informatica Data Director.
Okay, okay.
So that's Informatica Data Director, and there is IDQ. So there's Informatica Data Quality. And interesting thing is you also have Informatica Data Director in IDQ. So slightly confusing, but you also have a IDD in IDQ. Both this IDD, this IDD and this IDD, they have similarities, but they are different. The purpose is different for them. That's what happens when a single vendor sells multiple products. Okay, what they do is they remarket the product by renaming it and all those things. So a lot of things you'll see that IDQ, Power Center, and IDQ, a lot of things in IDQ was actually copied from Power Center. In IDQ, initially that was uh, IDQ Workbench. Okay, this was a separate company itself. Okay, Data Quality Workbench, that was
No,
Informatica.
no. Actually, no, that is Data Explorer. That's the initial
The
tool.
Data Explorer is a separate tool. That's for explore profiling. Workbench, previously it used to come as Data Quality Workbench. Okay, and I might be having that Data Quality Workbench. That's a standalone tool, and that the license for that was on MAC address. So you had to provide the MAC address to Informatica, and they used to give a
Okay.
license.bin file. So
I think they
yeah,
merged the
yeah,
Data Explorer
that's what
and
they did. That's what
IDC
I'm
in one
saying.
thing.
What they did is the data quality tool, Data Quality Workbench, they added ETL
Yeah,
features in that, and then they created this IDQ tool out of that.
got it.
But problem was Data Quality Workbench. We created a lot of code in Data Quality Workbench. Okay, for the same features are there in IDQ now, the IDQ developer that you have. Okay, and what happened is they stopped supporting. I mean, we used to call them as plans. Okay, these were plans, IDQ plans. So these plans, they were stopped. I mean, the support was demoted, stopped. So those people who have created plans, they cannot migrate that to IDQ. What they had to do is they had to rewrite these plans in IDQ new version, that is 9.1. So we migrated a lot of things, and still our code, lot of code is still running on old plans, because
Oh,
translating plans are very, see, now IDQ is very easy to use, but at that time IDQ was very, I mean, very confusing and complicated.
okay.
It's not IDQ, Data Quality Workbench, that was. And that is also not actually Informatica's product. That product also they acquired it, they purchased this product. And MDM is also a purchased product from Cyperion, and identity resolution, that is called as matching, the matching engine, which is there in both IDQ and it is there in both MDM. This is also acquired from a separate company. Okay, this looks like a very small thing. Identity resolution means the matching engine, that's the matching engine, but this is actually a very big thing. Okay, the matching engine, this was acquired again from a separate company. I think this was also from the Siberian only they acquired it. Anyway, let's move on. So schema, to see, when we're talking about model, this repository model, sorry, this workbench model, we are talking about development. So you need to log in into an not master database. You cannot use this in master database. You must log in into any ORS. Okay, we'll be using this. So let's log in into here. So basically this is the most important tab, that is the schema. You configure all the properties. For example, the architecture class we talked about, uh, landing tables, staging tables, then the base objects. Okay, all these things will be done here. The match and merge configuration will be done here. Message queues, this is message trigger setup, that is the outbound interface setup has to be done here. Okay, in this tab only. External matching also has to be done here, and validation rules, that's not that important, but yeah, relationship validation rule, all things, all the most important things has to be configured here. So you must master this particular schema. Okay, this whatever is there in the schema. And the schema viewer is just the data model. I mean, whatever you have created. Why this many tables? Okay, it's just the data model, whatever data model you have created, that you'll see here. You can also export that, import, I mean, you cannot import anything from this tool. This tool is just a read-only view, just for viewing. Okay, it's just a diagram that you can see. You can save it. You can just save this to a text, I mean, sorry, JPG file, I mean, image file. Apart from that, this doesn't have much usage. Yeah, the only interesting thing is the relationship type. The relationship type will always be one to many, that you can see here, one to many. Okay, that's the default relationship. Not only it's about Informatica MDM. Anywhere in the world, wherever you go, you'll see that the default relationship between a parent and child will always be one to many. We'll learn in the modeling class how we can convert this to one or many to many. In order to accomplish many to many relationships, what we need to do, and one to one if we want to accomplish, then how to do that. Okay.
Yeah, quick question on this. Can we import the Erwin
Yeah,
model here,
you
or
can
no,
you can
there's
do
no?
that. You can do that using this repository manager. That's called as CWM, Common Warehouse Model. You use an Erwin tool. You export that to dots, I mean CWM model. Okay, Common Warehouse Model. If you do that, then you can import that model in here. So you do not have to create the model here. You can directly import from a data modeler tool as well.
So once we import, then we can generate the physical tables automatically, run that.
Automatically, yeah, it will take, see, there are the base objects have contain lot of system columns. Okay, so when you import them, it will ask you to either choose import them as base object or landing table. You have to do that. So once you select it, automatically it's going to create the system columns for you. Okay, so you do not have to create the system columns. For example, in schema, if you see, there are many system columns. Just logging in, see, there will be many system columns that you will learn. For example, yeah, these are all system columns. Okay, so they are created by the system. You are not going to create it. So in the Erwin also, you are not going to create this. Okay, so when you import it, automatically the system will create that.
Okay. Well, basically from the model, the SQL will be created. At that time, it will ask us to select the option which tables we need to create. Based on that, it will create the SQL by itself. And
yeah, that's correct. So CWM file, I think if I have, okay, I don't have it. Maybe I'll show you later. CWM file is just like an XML file only. I mean, here their details will be there, column, tables, the metadata, that is what is string, char, or all those metadata, that is definition of particular table. Not in create table format, it will be in XML format, I mean.
Right. I mean, like, I'm not very sure about the hybrid model, but any modeling tool, right? It has all the relations and everything, right, Sunil? So what I was asking is, the moment I import a bunch of tables, so all the base tables and all the relationships and foreign key and whatever base they have, everything will be imported, right?
Yeah. All that's
Or
what.
do I have to do anything?
No. All will be imported.
That will be neat.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that is what Informatica provides, an exclusive support for CWM file. You'll see that there's a separate utility for CWM file. You can import and export CWM file. Also, you can export your data model, whatever data model you are having. You can export that data model. You can choose the repository and you can export the data model to a CWM file, and you can import that in the data model tool as well. That also you can do. It's vice versa. Okay, so that's about this. You can create base object, landing tables, and all that. Schema, this is important. Schema viewer, that's the viewer. And systems and trust contains two things. Basically, systems is nothing but the source systems. If you have 10 source systems, then you need to register all those source systems here. That is here, whatever source systems you have, you need to register them. Until unless you don't register them, you will not be able to use them. Okay, so you need to register here. We'll learn more about that later in the 5th class, how to register and what if you don't register. And the trust settings configurations, all the trust configurations will be handled in systems and trust. Okay, this codes and all that, this strategy, graph type, decay, everything, all these things you need to configure in systems and trust. And queries and packages both are what they do is query is nothing but a database query. Okay, so when you say select asterisk from emp, that's a query. So this is also the same query. I mean, for example, if you go to a query, okay, so this query is nothing but this query. This is what is the name of this query. Okay, and we use a query inside a package. Package is nothing but a view. Okay, so you understand view, right? View, what is a view? View is based on a table. There could be many types of views: materialized view, normal view. Let's talk about only non-materialized. That's a normal view. Okay, so what's a normal view? A normal view is something that is a layer, is a data access layer, which doesn't actually store the data but takes data from a physical table. Same thing is here. Here they call it as packages. What you call it as views in databases, this is called as packages. Okay, and do we need to, there's a question, do we need to register trust also? You do not need to register any trust. Okay, you need to register the source systems. Then once you create the staging tables, automatically you will see that these source systems will be added up here. All you need to do is just you take the log here, you just need to configure the scores. Okay, for example, and the scores also, you do not need to worry, because as a developer you will get the scores. Okay, you will get all the scores. All you need to just need to, for example, the default is 0. Okay, that's the default is 0. So this source system and this table, you will get it. This is called as a trust seed. Okay, for a project there will be a trust seed, and you'll get this, and all you need to do is you just need to configure. I'll tell you on what basis how this Excel sheet is created. Okay, and who creates that, I'll tell you later, but not now.
Is this that the system of record will be given a trust of 90% or by default 100?
It's
Let's
0
suppose
to 100. Default will be 0 only. Okay, you can see this is default. Default will be 0. You need to assign the scores. For example, I think I'll just show you. Lot of trust I have not used also. Okay, this is created already, someone has assigned, but when you create initially it will be 0 0. Okay,
Yeah, let's assume that if you're getting it from an ERP system through the orders or any kind of thing, the trust can be given 90% there, because already the attributes are already validated, no?
yeah, that's what you see, that's what, first of all you have to do profiling, and then you will understand how to put these codes. So after profiling you will see that quality of the data and that the trustworthiness of the data, and this Excel sheet will be created. Okay, this is from 0 to 100. Okay, this score is from 0 to 100. Out of 0 to 100 you need to give a score, and how to do that and everything we'll talk about that in the trust. Basically that complete thing depends upon profiling. Okay, so if you do the profiling, then you will understand which source is more trustworthy and which source should be trusted more.
Okay.
Okay, and queries and packages are views. So the reason why do we create views in databases, the same reason applies for here. Views are a protection layer which protects the base object or the table from the okay, protects it, protects lot of unwanted things and lot of things, access and all that from the user. This is the same thing. The packages are are used inside here. They are used in this data steward tools. They are used in IDD exclusively. They are used in SIF exclusively. Okay, and there are a lot of other places where you will see that packages are used, especially in SIF. Okay, so yes,
Are they used
packages,
for publishing? Are
yeah,
they
they are,
used for
yeah,
publishing?
they are used for publishing. If you go to message queues, you'll see that when you try to create a message queue, I mean, sorry, not here, when you try to let's say set up a message queue, you need to give the package because you cannot choose the base object. Here if you'll see, when you add a message trigger, let's say this, then you must use a package. Okay, package used to build message. If there is no package, for example for this table there is no package, I cannot configure messaging outbound interface for this table. I must create a package, then only I can use the outbound interface. Okay,
So by default, every base object will have a package, I guess,
yeah,
view to be
you must,
exposed.
every base object must have one package at least, and normally it will have more than one package because a base object can be used in multiple ways. Okay, for example for IDD there will be separate packages, for SIF operations there will be separate packages. Okay, and for this hierarchy there will be separate packages, not one, there will be 2-3 packages at least for every important base object. For child base objects you don't need that much packages, but for important table like party account, these tables you need multiple packages. Okay, and the cleanse function, let me open the architecture so we keep it track on what we are doing. Okay, so cleanse functions and mappings. First of all, mapping, what's a mapping? That loads data from landing table to staging table. You are going to create the mapping. Cleanse functions you are going to use inside the mapping. Okay, you have to use these cleanse functions. For example, a very simple example of cleanse function is, let's say a very simple example, even a kid can understand. Let's say you want to convert something from lowercase to uppercase, so let's say sun. So you see it's simply converting a lowercase in the landing table to a uppercase into the staging table. So source you are getting sun in the landing table, and target is staging table that contains sun. So that is transform data. These kind of functions are called as cleanse functions. Okay, we are going to learn that in detail later. And mappings I already told you. Yeah, hierarchies consists of two things. Okay, hierarchies in the model tab and hierarchy manager in the data steward tab. I'm getting some echo and some noise. For those who are not speaking, kindly go on mute. 1 second. Okay, yeah. So hierarchies consists of two things. One is hierarchies and another one is hierarchy manager. Hierarchies here is about configuring it. Remember, hierarchies are not enabled by default because hierarchies are different. I mean hierarchies are you need a separate license for hierarchy. Normally if it's a big client, definitely you will have license, but I'm just telling you hierarchy is a separate option in license. So if hierarchy is enabled, uh, let's say your license hierarchy is enabled, then it doesn't mean that hierarchy is configured automatically. IDD and hierarchy, these two things needs to be configured manually. You have to configure them only once you configure them, then only you'll be able to see this. I mean, you will be able to use that. If you do not configure it, you will not be able to use that. Hierarchy manager relationship do not exist. Okay, anyway, when we move to the hierarchies, I'll tell you how to configure. If I say yes, then the configuration process will start. But let's say no as of now. No. And SAM is about authorization. Okay, we talked about authentication here. Users tool access, that's authentication. This one talks about authorization. This is object level authorization. For example, if you see here, you have many types of objects. You have a base objects. These are the base objects. You have cleanse functions. See, any valid thing in MDM is nothing but a resource, or you can say it's an object. Okay, so you have many different types of objects, hierarchy objects, many packages, other resources, many types of objects you are there. You can provide privileges. For example, you learn this later in the, this is planned in later classes. I think this is there in the second week or so, second or third week. Yeah, it's there in the third week. So anyway, this is related to administration. This, you do not need to focus much on this, but this one talks about, I mean, how to create a role and then how to assign objects to a role and how to assign that role to the users. So that this is all about, I mean, what a user can access once he log in. What are the things he can access? Okay, that's all about the SAM, Security Access Manager. Data steward is the name. Data steward means he's a business person. Data steward is just the client person. Okay, so not necessarily every client is a data steward. So basically you can say data steward is a person who funds your MDM project. He's the most important person. Every project will have a data steward, and probably he would have implemented Informatica MDM. I mean, implemented in the sense he is the person who requested funding for your MDM project from the client. And basically he's not from the outsourcing team, he is directly from the client team. Okay, and he has knowledge on the whole thing. That is, he's an important person. He has knowledge on the data, the source systems, the reason of why to implement MDM and all that. So he has complete knowledge. So he will not access this tool. Okay, Informatica MDM Hub Console, he might not access these tools because these business people, they do not like accessing like this kind of thin client tools. So they will access using IDD, Informatica Data Director. In Informatica Data Director, whatever you see here, data manager, merge manager, hierarchy manager, all these features are there in the web format. Okay, this is there in thin client, Java thin client, the tool that you see here. And in the hub console, sorry, in the IDD, it is there in the web interface. It's a web-based interface that's much easier, can be accessed from anywhere. Even this can be accessed from anywhere because you do not need to install this tool. Okay, so, and there are three things: data manager, merge manager, hierarchy manager. All three are related things. Okay, data manager, merge manager is, data manager is for unmerging record. Just try to remember this. Do not ask me much because we don't have we're going to cover that later. Yeah, same functionality, whatever you have, data manager, merge manager, hierarchy manager, all these three functionalities are exactly there in your data IDD. There are a lot of other functionalities in IDD that you have that is not there in here. Okay, and hierarchy manager is, I'll just quickly show you. Okay, hierarchy manager is all about hierarchies. Okay, so let's say your data is hierarchical. For example, you have Sunil, let's say he's an employee, and you have another person, let's say Amit. Okay, and let's say Amit and Sunil both are employees, but Amit is the manager of Sunil. Now you have two customers in the same table, but there is a relation among the customers. There's a relationship among the customers. That is where hierarchy comes into picture. Hierarchy comes into picture when there is a relationship among people, relationship among persons in the same table, okay, or in the same entity. And if your client wants to view that information graphically, then you would have to configure the hierarchy. Okay, because by default, for example, I'll just show you all this tool. I mean, you are able to see hierarchy manager and everything. The reason is this is configured. Okay, this is configured in here, hierarchies. If let's say this is not configured, then you cannot use this. I mean, you will see blank. And if I want to say full hierarchy, I'll just show you. You might have already guessed what this means. So basically, QC chart reports to webcams. So chart is a type of webcam. It comes under webcam. Okay, see, this is a hierarchy. For example, the parent most, that's the grandparent is this all products, and these are all the grandchilds, and this is like a tree. You can see this. This is reporting to this, and this is reporting to this. It's like that. Okay, so that's called as hierarchy. In order to see this, whatever you are seeing right now in front of you, this you are able to see only the reason is it is configured here in hierarchies. Okay, so you need to configure in the hierarchies.
Sunil, one question regarding hierarchy manager. Can't we handle the hierarchy in the data model more like a self-join?
Yeah, you can do that. That's what I said. That is why I said hierarchy is optional, because a lot of companies, what they will
Okay.
do is they will configure hierarchies directly in the database. For example, in Oracle, let's say if it is the Oracle database, Oracle already provides support using connect by. Okay, connect by prior. If you see in here, but here you will see information graphically. So that is why I
Okay.
said it is optional, because
Optional.
it takes a lot of time to configure hierarchy. I mean, it's not a one day job. I mean, it takes a lot of effort and time. And hierarchy is configuration is slightly complicated as compared to other things. I mean, other things are easy. Hierarchy is slightly complex. So you can see, but hierarchies is supported by Oracle, but it is in form of queries. Okay, but not graphically. This is graphical. So
Okay.
depends upon the client what they want. If they want you to configure, you configure. Otherwise, if they want it in database, let that be in the database.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. But normally people will go for hierarchies in MDM. Okay. And batch group and batch viewer. This is the job monitoring. That is, you start the job in the batch viewer or the batch group. This is about starting individual jobs. Okay. That is mappings, load jobs, match jobs, merge jobs. And this is about starting in the group. You, instead of starting individual jobs, like in the architecture, there is a job for here, there is a job here, there are many jobs here. So instead of calling all the jobs one by one, you create a group called as a batch group, and you kick off the group. So that's done here in the batch group. Okay, and the process server is nothing
This
but,
kind of workflow concept, batch group is.
yeah, it's a workflow concept. You can see this here. You can see this, it's like a workflow concept. You have many individual sessions, and this is a full workflow. So these jobs are going to run in parallel, and once that's done, this will kick off this, and these three will run in parallel. Once that is done, it will kick off the next. So it's, yeah, it's a concept of workflow. You can say it's a workflow.
Okay, thank you.
And there's no scheduling provided by Informatica MDM like Power Center or other tools. So you have to purchase a scheduler, and if you want to schedule it, you can. Informatica does provide support. I mean, you, it's not like you will manually go and run the jobs. If you want to schedule, the Informatica provides scheduling support. For example, this is the API that's called as MDM execute batch proc dot cmd dot or dot sh, depends upon the environment where you are. If you kick off this job in the command prompt, it will start this staging job, but there is no scheduling feature as such what is there in Power Center.
So can it be integrated with AutoSys or any other
Yeah,
scheduling
that's what
tool?
I said, right? That's what I said. You call this job. If you call this in the command prompt, then it will kick off. It means in AutoSys you create a job, and you just mention these two commands, so it will automatically start the MDM job.
So most of the installations are happening on Windows environment or Unix or
Most are
Linux.
on Windows. because
That's the reason.
there are a lot of small companies who are going for MDM nowadays, and small companies, they will never implement it in Unix.
Okay.
But
Otherwise, we can schedule in the cron jobs.
but it's better to grow with, instead of cron time, I mean, it's better to go with a external scheduler. Otherwise, what you can also do is you can use the scheduler of Power Center. You can use the common task in Power Center, and then you can do it that way as well.
Invoke.
Yeah, you can invoke this job in the common task of Power Center if you have both. Instead of, you can also do it on cron, but the problem with cron is it's all in codes, right? I mean, you cannot monitor, if you want to see a picture, let's say graphical picture, what is what, dependent jobs and all that, that's difficult, right? So
Yeah.
it's all about one or two jobs, then you can kick them off from cron tab. But if there are multiple, it gets complicated.
Yeah. So it should be an auto scheduler.
Yeah, it should be auto scheduler, or it should be Power Center command task. Process server comes in here in the architecture. That is,
Yeah, Sunil,
uh-huh.
what is the scheduler that is normally used? XML,
Scheduler,
whatever.
Autosys is most successful and widely used scheduler. You have Trivoli, that's the second most. Then you have Dollar Universe. There are many, and
Okay.
schedulers are, I think there are more than 400, 500 schedulers. If you go to a company, you will probably, the scheduler that you have worked in your life and the scheduler that they are using will be different, because schedulers are
Okay.
very completely different in from company to company. But Autosys is the most widely and successful scheduler.
Okay.
Okay, this, I'll mute everyone. I'm getting some noise. Okay, so this cleanse match server that we talked about in the architecture class, this is nothing but the process server. Just remember, previously in older versions, it was called as cleanse match server. Now that has been renamed to process server. It is the same thing, only thing that is that it is renamed. Okay, so this is the process server. You need to configure it here. Okay, and audit manager is about auditing. Normally it's not used until unless if you on specific cases where you want to track it. Auditing can be enabled for two things. One is inbound, that's the API request, and it's for outbound, that's the SIF request. Auditing is not for batch. Okay, it's normally for this real-time thing. And SIF manager is something where you configure the SIF. I mean, there are two types of SIF APIs. One is a normal SIF API that is enabled by default. That is in here. This is the service for normal API till WSDL, WSDL. This is about the normal API, and this is the ORS specific SIF API. That is this, and that needs to be enabled for every ORS. For example, you can see that you are able to see a WSDL here, but if I log in into another ORS, that's a party, you will see that that is blank. It's not generated. Okay, it doesn't mean that I cannot use SIF for this ORS. I can use the normal SIF, but I cannot use ORS specific SIF. Okay, I cannot use ORS specific SIF here. You learn that what's the difference between these two later. As of now, just remember this. And if this is for outbound interface, JMS Event Schema Manager, if you want to enable outbound interface, you take a log, okay, and you click on this generate and deploy schema. This will take 10 minutes or so. Okay, so if I click on that, this, if you, let's say if you do not do that, and you try to configure the message queues in the table message trigger, that's not going to publish a message. Okay, it will not succeed. The reason is this will generate the schema file, that's the XSD file, without which the outbound interface, that is the JMS publishing real-time outbound interface, is not going to work. User object registry, this is not supported anymore. Custom stored procedures, this is for backward compatibility. User exit and Java cleanse functions, these two are there. Custom button function, this is also, I think they are demoted it starting with newer versions. Lot of options you will see from version 10. Lot of things are new, lot of things are demoted. For example, this user exit, Previously you had to implement using procedure packages. Now you have to upload the jar file, that's the Java file, Java archive file. Okay, so the functionality is in Java now, this user exit. Probably this is the only place where you need knowledge of Java. You do not, I would say, if you just know basic of Java, you can implement user exits, because what how it is implemented is, it is implemented, what you'll do is you'll create a package, that is a Oracle PL SQL package or procedure. Then you are going to invoke the package. For example, you are going to invoke that PL SQL package from the Java code. Okay, so you simply use this, copy paste this code. All you need to do is just change this package name. Okay, so and you just need to know the basic, how to read these values, how to read the landing table, staging table, what to do with this, how to open a connection. Okay, it's all basic thing. It's not tough or difficult. But yes, for SIF, you, if you want to work on SIF, you should know a bit more on Java.
So what is the purpose of user exits?
User exit is a very big topic you're asking, but I'll tell you what user exit is. User exit, see in this diagram, in the architecture. Okay, let me open the architecture. In the architecture, you're seeing here how the data flows. Okay, let's say if I want any customization for certain set of records, you understand, right? Customization not for all the records. Let's say there are 10,000 records that are coming today, so I want some special operation to be done on, let's say, 100 records, and remaining 9,900 records should flow as it is. Let's say I want to do something on the matching. I want to remove them from the match queue. Okay, or I want to say, let's say if the system, okay, I'll give it a very simple and small example. Let's say there is a customer named John, there is a customer name, okay, let's say there is a company name as Amazon, there's a company name as Amazon uh, PVT Ltd. Okay, so let's say you are getting 10,000 records from source system. Okay, and out of these 10,000, these are the two records are like this. Let's say when you pass this result into your matching engine, your matching engine will say that these two are same companies. Okay, but the client has specially requested you, stating that even if your matching recognizes that these two are same customers, for certain set of customers like this Amazon, you should not merge them, you should treat them as separate customers. Okay, you understand, right? Remaining 9,900, you should process them normally, but only for this 100 customers like this. Okay, you should do a special operation. Okay, you have to manipulate the match queue. That is where the user exit comes into picture. User exit is a customization at any point of time. For example, after
So
landing,
basically customization happens at the data level then.
yeah, that's for data level only, right?
Okay.
Data level, but where you want to do, based on that the user exit is defined. Let's say if you want to do before match or after match. If you do it before match, that's called as pre-match. If you do it after match, that's post-match. If you do it after landing, that's post-landing. Before stage is pre-stage, after staging is pre-stage. And also merge also, that it is there, and unmerge also it is there. Post merge, post unmerge. That is the concept of, on a
So
high level,
this
that's the concept of user exit.
this is beyond the merger match rules that we have been defined,
Yeah,
controlling further control on the data processing.
that's what it does, a special customization on a certain set of data that you define.
Okay.
And what will happen is, you, let's say, what I'm saying, if you go to this base object, then these tables are used, right? All these tables are used by Informatica internally. When you, when the system, when the job is running, let's say this is the match table, the example that I gave here, you need to manipulate this match table. Manipulate means you need to delete records from here, those 100 records. Okay, those 100 records you need to delete from this match table, and that you have to do it in the runtime, and that should be automatic. Automatic means it doesn't means that you will run the job till this, you remove the records and then you do the merge. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an automated process that is done via user exit. That's the concept of user exit. Java cleanse functions means, for example, these cleanse functions that you saw here, right? All these cleanse functions are nothing but they are Java cleanse functions. They are imported from a Java program. For example, um, okay. So for example, this is a program. This is a small Java program, and what it does is it creates the logic for cleansing. Okay, for example, if the name is null, then it should send through a message like this. Okay, and if the middle name is null, then throw some message. Okay, and let's say if the date of birth is after today's date, after system date, then that will throw a message like this. So it's a small cleanse functionality that you're creating in Java. Let's say you can import this code as a jar file in the in here. Okay, let's say here you add it as a Java library, you can import that jar file. Okay, for example, here you will see that this code, whatever you're seeing here, cv person, sorry, what the code that I open is already imported here in ors sample in here. Okay, that is the this is the cv person that we talked about, cv person. Okay, the first name and date of birth that we talked about. Normally, see, this is just a feature. You are not going to use it. I mean, I have not seen in much places. I mean, until unless this will see, the only place where it will be used is if your project is very, very small and your client is not ready for anything. They don't want to pay for an ETL tool. They don't want any data quality tool. They just have money for only MDM, nothing else. Then if you want to do any customization, because you don't have a data quality tool or ETL tool, you would have to create this. That's the alternative. Normally, in 95 percentage cases, this is not used. But still, if you want to use this, this is the, I mean, where is the code? I just showed you the code. Okay.
So, Sunil, quick question here. So, can we say that MDM cleansing functions are like very minimal,
Yeah,
and
that's
if you
correct.
need anything,
MDM cleansing
okay,
function are very minimal. The reason is MDM, the purpose of MDM is master data management. Okay, it's managing master data. It's not a data quality tool. Okay, it's not a DQ
Mhm.
tool, data quality tool. The cleansing comes into picture when we are talking about data quality tool. Okay, because cleansing is all about data quality. You can also do the cleansing in ETL. You can also do some level of cleansing in MDM. But when the things get complicated, you go to a specialist. Specialist is means the data quality tool. So basically you have data quality features, but yes, this is quite limited as compared to data quality. You cannot compare IDQ or Oracle data quality cleansing features with MDM cleansing.
okay.
Okay, so that's about this. Now, this slight introduction is done. Just 1 second. And we are also done with the time. What we'll do today, we'll start with the data model designing tomorrow. And you go through the PPTs. You try to. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll tell you how to access this tool so that you can access the tool and you can start checking these options one by one. Okay, so this tool is not installed in this machine. Okay, this tool is installed in a separate server. So the way I am accessing this tool, the same way you are going to access it as well. So I'll just tell you, I'll guide you how to do that. You go to this, okay, you open this vpn login details.txt. See, it is very simple. I have shared this file hamachi.msi. All you need to do is just double click and say next, next, next and install. This will take 2 minutes, 3 minutes to install. Once this is installed, this is the thing. Okay, once that is installed, then you will see something like this. Okay, so all you need to do is just click on this power on button. When you click on this power on button, because I have already logged in it is not asking me to log in. Otherwise, it will ask you user ID password. If it is asking user ID password, you give this user ID and give this password, user ID password, give this user ID password. Normally you will not have any issue. If you're still unable to understand what I told, this video talks about how to install Hamachi. Okay, so you can also check that. And then I have also shared this JRE. You might need it, you might not need it, but for this safe side, on a safe side, you just double click and install. This is nothing but JRE means Java. Okay, basic Java. Java, see, when I say Java, it's Java runtime environment, not Java coding something. Okay, it's Java runtime environment. Basically, it will be there in all your machines, but you need an updated version. So you install this. Once you're done, you have to join a network. Where is this? 1 second. Yeah, I just forgot one thing. So once you install this till this much and you give authentication, what you need to do is you need to go here and say join an existing network. Click on that. Okay, it's written here as well. Join an existing network, and it will ask you for an ID. ID I have shared in the email. Okay, just check the email. The network ID is there in the email. Once you give that, you will see something like this. You will be inside the VPN. Okay, for example, I am inside the VPN. You will you will see inside the VPN. You will see the what you say, the name and all that. That means you're done. Okay, the VPN configuration is complete, so you can start accessing. So once that is done, you can, let's say if you go here and if you open the open this in your browser, any browser, you should see Informatica tool here. Okay, and what you can, there are two ways of doing it. You can either click on this, so you can see below it's Cyprian-console.jnlp file. You can open it from here, the Cyprian file directly. Okay, for example, click here and open it. Just click, that will open. Otherwise, I have also shared this file, cyprian-console.jnlp file, with everyone. It's better if you use this shared file, because there are some bugs that are there in Informatica MDM. Okay, and I have corrected those defects in Informatica MDM, and I have edited that file and send it to you. So you try to access that file. Okay, cyprian.jnlp file that I have sent. Okay, if you double click it, then I just did it, right? So just say run. First time it will take 5 minutes or so. After that it will be very much faster. Okay, you can see it got launched in 1 minute or so. So say admin, then you will log in into the tool, and what ORS you are going to use. There are many ORSs. You use ORS. Okay, I'll create one more ORS. Okay, as of now you use any of the online ORS, but I'm going to create one more ORS. We are going to use that ORS for the lab practice. Okay, for example, double click, then you are inside the tool. That's about the Informatica. And if you want to access Oracle, that is very simple. You copy this. Okay, you copy this link. You go to Chrome. Okay, you access this in Chrome only. Don't explore. Don't try to access it in Firefox or, for example, if you access in Firefox or Internet Explorer, you'll get an error. So access it in Chrome. Okay, so it'll try to, so let's say for first time when you do it, right? Let me access it in Opera. You can also do it in Safari, Opera also. Continue anyway. Okay, if you do it in Opera, continue anyway, then it will launch you. Okay, in here it will ask you to go to advanced options in because I've already chosen it, so that's why it is not asking. It's already cached. First time when you do it, it will ask you, you go to the advanced option and say enable. Okay, continue anyway, then you can open that thing. Okay, and all these other configurations are not needed now. This SIF configuration, all this is needed when you are in the SIF class. Okay, so just forget this. And to access the database, for example, I want to access the database. There are many ORSs. For example, sample ORS I want to access. Then copy this. Password is Tiger for all users. And Tiger. Login. Yeah, so that's it. Now you can execute all the commands here. Okay, so this is like Toad, whatever commands you want you can execute here.
And what about the MDM username password, Sunil? Would
MDM
you
is
create one?
admin. It's there in the document. It is admin. Okay, it's there here in the
Okay.
document. Admin.
So but when I try to download the JNLP file, I'm not able to open it. It's opening in a different. It's opening in Excel format, XML format.
Oh, okay, I think then Java is not installed. For example,
Okay, so I need to update the Java.
you just install JRE. You just install JRE.
JRE.
I'll just
Okay.
show you. For example,
Yep.
if you go here, see this Cyperion file. When you right click on this, by default, see open with. If I say then this has to be opened with Java Web Start Launcher. This is a part of
Okay.
Java. Okay, this is a part of JRE. This will automatically come up once JRE has been installed. Okay.
Installed. Okay.
For those who are using 32-bit machine, what you do is you go here. Okay, sorry, you go here, say JRE, and JRE is from Oracle. Okay, Java is from Oracle, 32-bit. You try to download the recent version. Okay, go here and it's very easy. I mean, just see what is 32 version. Where is 32-bit? 86 means 32-bit. Okay, so yeah, this one. You download this one offline. 86 32-bit. So 32-bit is also fine. Okay. Okay, guys, you try configuring that. If you're not able to do, then you call me. Okay.
Can you check, Sunil, that I already logged in?
You have already logged in. You're getting any error as such?
No, no error.